Mark Zuckerberg didn't invent social media, he just made it more personal. MySpace was already the major network player at the time, but mostly featured anonymous profiles cluttered with customizable backgrounds, text, and music. Zuckerberg tapped into something primal, our instinctive need for community and familiar faces. On MySpace, you met random people from around the world, but finding a familiar face, like Rachel from English class, was far more intriguing. For millennia, humans have relied on familiar faces to build trust and community. Long before phones, written communication, or spoken language, we looked into each other's faces to convey messages and feeling. Even today, we can tell when somebody doesn't mean what they say, if their mind is elsewhere, or if they aren't being forthcoming by subtle or exaggerated muscle movements. Of course, technology removed that context from the conversation, which has caused its own problems. Yet it seems humans are now threatening even the most basic means of communication, the human face. These days, cosmetic procedures like Botox, elective facial reconstruction procedures, and even AI filters are reshaping how we present ourselves, both online and in person. But are these advancements in medical technology harmless cosmetic changes to boost confidence, or could they turn future humans into sociopaths? Thanks for stopping by NPC Overrider, where we challenge mainstream source code to develop independent thought, one user story at a time. Grab your scalpel and syringe, and let's log into the NPC environment. Okay, let's take a look at the mainstream argument that says cosmetic procedures aren't a big deal and are typically positive for society. First, let's take a look at this short clip about Botox to see what we're dealing with.
When you get a Botox injection, you're actually injecting a toxin into your face. This toxin blocks nerve signals in your muscles, which temporarily paralyzes the area. This causes the muscle to relax, which is how it reduces the appearance of wrinkles. Now, Botox gets a bad rap because some people tend to overdo it. But the injection can also help with other conditions like excessive sweating and migraines.
Alright, now let's take a look at the supporting points as to why facial manipulation is a positive for society. Point number 5 says individual confidence. Botox and other cosmetic procedures like fillers or thread lifts that clear up wrinkles or sagging skin boost self-esteem and allow people to operate more confidently in their daily personal and professional lives. When people feel confident, they're more likely to succeed, making these facial modifications a positive for society overall. In a 2018 survey, participants reported that seeking cosmetic procedures was a benefit for themselves, not to impress others. Point 4, social integration. Less invasive cosmetic procedures are one thing, but people with facial deformities caused by birth defects or injuries sustained in accidents or combat stand to benefit the most. When these people aren't comfortable going in public, they're less likely to build meaningful relationships. With safe and effective methods to enhance appearances in such cases, it's a win for society overall. Point 3, beauty fairness. Whether we like it or not, humans have a beauty standard. Looks might not be everything to everyone, but they are something to most. It wasn't that long ago that even basic cosmetic procedures were reserved for the elites due to high cost. But advanced technology today levels the playing field with less costly procedures, so you don't have to be on the red carpet to benefit from beauty enhancements. Point number 2, improving mental health. Cosmetic procedures aren't just about physical appearance. People unhappy with their facial appearance or structure internalize negative emotions fueled by low self-esteem and confidence. This can snowball into a more serious condition like depression or anxiety, where people may seek out prescription drugs or fall victim to substance abuse to treat symptoms. Modern cosmetic procedures can address the root of the problem to get people back on their feet. Lastly, point number 1, identity expression. We live in a free market, and if somebody wants to offer a service for elective procedures, such as altering your face to look like the opposite sex or even different races, they should be able to do so. For example, Ollie London underwent cosmetic procedures to look like a Korean man, and Rachel Dolezal altered her look to appear like a black woman. And who can forget Dylan? They should be free to make those decisions as long as they understand the risks and taxpayers aren't footing the bill. Okay, interesting points there, but let's check out the rebuttal that says cosmetic procedures might complicate the future human condition. Here's a short clip to get us started.
There's a study that was once published about Botox, and they injected one group of the study population with Botox and the other half of the group did not receive Botox. And then both groups were exposed to sad movie scenes, and the participants were asked to rate these scenes and how sad do you find this scene. The bottom line is those patients that were Botoxed felt a lot of these scenes to be less sad than the group that was Botoxed. So we took out of this facial expressions actually emphasize our emotions. So if you can smile fully, you probably feel happier than if you're not allowed to smile even though you're happy. If you're very sad and you can have the facial expressions of crying, it makes you actually feel sadder and you can just let it go. Whereas when you can't have these expressions due to Botox, you don't feel that sad.
Okay, supporting point number 5 says basic cosmetic procedures are reinforcing unrealistic standards. While it's true physical appearance is a dating concern, cosmetic professionals promote an unattainable beauty standard perpetuated in Hollywood and social media. Botox was once considered an option for people of a certain age, but younger people are getting Botox as a preventative measure these days. This pressure to obsess about your looks in your 20s can lead to a snowball effect of never-ending facial work. Supporting point number 4, impairment of emotional communication. Simple cosmetic jobs, AI filters, or even heavy makeup restrict facial movements and skin elasticity. This tension limits people's ability to properly convey human emotions like joy, sadness, or surprise. These basic communication cues we've relied on to show emotions are becoming increasingly lost in translation as faces become more placid. This is particularly a concern for children still learning social cues embedded in adults' facial expressions. Point number 3, identity loss. Minor cosmetic procedures may go unnoticed in everyday interactions, but many don't stop there. Like with substance abuse or too much exercise, there is no end goal, and people may get addicted to altering their appearance. Extreme cases of this behavior include Lindsay Lohan, Simon Cowell, and Madonna, who have been criticized for going off the cosmetic deep end, having the opposite desired effect. Point 2, disingenuous interaction. As people continue altering their physical appearance or portray themselves through an AI filter, our daily interactions become less authentic. Not only do subtle messages dilute in translation, but people stop having genuine conversations and instead wonder how much work the other person has undergone rather than how their day went. Lastly, point number 1, physical and psychological harm. Some people like to believe cosmetic procedures are harmless ways to improve looks, but there are plenty of people with regrets. Just look at the television series Botched. While some might be edge cases, Botox, deep chemical peels, and reconstruction come with high risks of complication such as droopy lips or eyes. This leads to worsening anxiety or depression. Just like Big Pharma, Big Plastic minimizes these concerns for the sake of profit. Okay, here's the final patch, facing the future. Now, you're likely familiar with Mark Zuckerberg's controversial beginnings portrayed in the 2010 film The Social Network. But whether you believe Zuck stole the idea for Facebook or he won the social media race fair and square, it wasn't the first time he'd stirred the pot. In the months leading up to Facebook's initiation, its founder was in hot water for creating a website called FaceMash, where he compiled a directory of female college students. The site would present users with images of 2 female schoolmates where they voted on who was more attractive. The site spread like wildfire through the campus to the point that they crashed the Harvard network. Zuckerberg knew how to write code, but he also knew the power of the human face. While we contemplate the breakdown of basic communication and community through technology, we haven't much considered how manipulating the human face could impact daily conversations in the future. People seem to constantly obsess about their looks to the point that they can't even pick up on subtle facial expressions that we've relied on since the dawn of man. We can't blame people for altering their faces due to deformities or injuries, and if people choose to go for elective cosmetic modifications, either invasive or otherwise, adults should have that right to make those decisions. But as people with increasingly more cosmetic procedures continue to raise children, what are the long-term consequences? Babies and young children learn emotions and communicate through their parents' facial expressions. What happens when their parents can't smile or show surprise? There are plenty of studies to show how forced masking on children during the lockdowns severely impaired children's ability to communicate. Minor procedures like Botox aren't likely to cause much of a concern, but if we get to the point where we communicate through screens with stiff faces, we can expect sociopathy to spread like Facebook. Well, that's going to do it for this version of NPC Overrider. I'm your lead engineer, Greg. What about you? What do you think? Are these cosmetic procedures going to be an issue in the future? If you want to help me save the NPCs, please set the like button to true or open up a ticket in the comments section if you have an idea for a future release. But for now, it's about beer 30. We're going to shut down the office. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good one.